Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRF Bets race of the day for Thursday, May the 17th, race number 5 at Santa Anita. We're kicking off the late pick 4, and you can play this race with DRF Bets. It is Preakness week. Bet the Preakness with free cash with a new DRF Bets account. Just go to drf.com/bet and get a $100 deposit match bonus. Let's take a look at the field for Thursday's race of the day. And we're going down the hill at about 6.5 furlongs for 3-year-olds and non-winners of one other than optional claimer, and you can access free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them and handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, and Matt, I know you have to deal with a layoff with the number 1 Armor Plate, but boy, this horse has taken on some top competition in his career.
Certainly has. I mean, just go through even the past 3 starts, but most recently, obviously, analyze it. We know he's a monster for Chad. My boy Jack, you may have heard of him once or twice. I think if they get him back to the turf, which sounds like it's a possibility, he might be one of the best 3-year-old turf horses that there are. And then Encumbered going 3 starts back. He's a nice little horse as well. The question here for this horse, the layoff certainly is a little bit of an unknown, but is this nothing more than a starting off, a means to an end? Because he's never gone down the hill in his career, and he seems to have done his best running going 2 turns. Is this just a starting off point to something longer?
That's kind of my thought. And he beat my boy Jack in his maiden win on the turf. And don't forget Publius Cyrus, who comes out of that last race to win 2 stakes as well. So he certainly fits from a class perspective. But I'm kind of with you. I wonder if Bill Spar, first time with this horse, wants to see what he has. He knows this horse likes middle distances, and maybe he's going to give him a race off of the bench. The 2 is Axelrod. This is a very lightly raced son of Warrior's Reward, who was up and on the pace last time out and just couldn't seal the deal. Maybe it was the layoff, and maybe he'll be much sharper in his second start of the year. He did win his second lifetime start last year at Del Mar.
Figures to be forwardly placed. I think the second off is going to be a pretty solid move. I know McCarthy's numbers at face value don't look particularly strong second off the layoff. I find it fascinating, and again, you can only tell so much by time, but this horse worked far and away the fastest workout of his career in that most recent one, going 47 flat on May the 12th. I expect him to be forwardly placed, and we'll find out if we get a tighter horse second off the bench.
We have several horses trying turf for the first time on Thursday. One of them is the number 3 Giddy Meister. This is a son of Runaway and Hyde, who gets 7% winners from first-time turf runners. The dam's a full sister to My Option, who was a multiple graded stakes winner on a synthetic track. So not a lot of turf, but some synthetic ability there. This horse taking a big step up in class.
Big jump up in class, won at 15-1 in a maiden claimer most recently, and that was in the debut. I think it's an interesting move to go dirt to turf in the second lifetime start. I don't love this horse, but at the same time, look at Paul Aguirre's numbers recently. 3 for 4 at this meeting. Far be it me to sit there and say this horse has no chance.
Matt, what do you do with a horse like the 4, Heartful of Stars? The Sire Astrology has not done very well with first-time turf runners, only 3% winners. But this horse is a half to a first-time turf winner, and I guess that's no surprise considering that the second dam Formal Miss won 8 stakes races on the turf. So no turf on top, tons of turf on the bottom, and a great trainer in Phil D'Amato. Is it simply in this situation where the pedigree's kind of going each and every way, in D'Amato you trust?
Yeah, probably it should just be that simple, especially considering clearly D'Amato must think this horse is okay if they were willing to ship across the country and run in the Wood Memorial. I have to be honest, I haven't loved this horse in any one of his lifetime starts. I don't love the fact that it's kind of hit or miss as far as pedigree is concerned. This is one where if he beats me, I'm fine. It is what it is. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. I don't want him in here.
Grey Castor, another one trying turf for the first time. This one by Graydar, who's 0 for 24 with first-time turf runners. The dam has foaled 1 turf winner from 3 turf runners. But again, I look back in this family, the big name Cryptograph, who was a multiple graded stakes winner on dirt. I just don't see a lot of turf here, but this one was in against a couple of fast Bafferts last time.
Yeah, we saw over the weekend in the Las Barreras, saw Zulfikar and McHale come back and run okay enough in that race. Second off the bench here for Hollendorfer going to the turf. To me, it's not necessarily a major positive, especially when you brought up the pedigree situation. Hollendorfer has a piece of this horse. He usually puts them where they belong. This, to me, just still feels like a little bit of an odd placement.
The 6 Calyx man scratched out of that aforementioned Las Barrera to run in this spot. He is expected to be the speed in this race, but I want you to discuss this formulator fact. The barn's been red hot at the meet, but the trainer over the past 5 years with 3-year-olds going dirt to turf is only 0 for 23.
Yeah, it's certainly a little bit of a concern there, I guess, if you want to just look at it and say, dirt to turf's not a positive move for the connections. Sorin has already won with this horse on turf.
Right.
It's the only victory that this horse has. And I understand this may not be a perfect sort of apples to apples comparison. You can go through formulator and dive things left and right. Past 90 days, turf route to sprint, he's 3 for 3 with an 11.86 ROI. So I kind of feel like the combination of this horse projecting to be forwardly placed, love the turn back, and I'm not convinced he absolutely needs the lead. I think he's going to get it in here, but if for some reason he finds himself sitting just off of one of the cheaper speeds, I still think Calix Man should work out the ideal trip in here. The question is, do you think he can handle going 6.5?
And he's faced some very promising horses, obviously Justify, Axeman, Pave, the very solid filly, McKinsey, etc. Here's the Timeform U.S. Pace Projector. They've got Calixman trying to take no prisoners out there on the front end, out sprinting Greycaster, the number 5, to the front. He should be tough if he gets that kind of trip. The 7 Move Over, I thought, had a trip last time out in the Singletary Stakes. He's only 2 for 13 lifetime with a lot of second-place finishes, but Tyler Bays had him in among horses on the far turn, and it looked like he got blind switched at a key point turning into the stretch. He then got steadied in between horses in mid-stretch, had to alter course down towards the rail, and he was running at the end of that race. Now it's his 3rd start back for John Sadler. He needs some pace, however. The question is, does he get it?
I mean, I think it should be an honest pace. I don't know that it's going to be blistering, so he should be able to come with some sort of a run. I have to admit, I get a little bit tight with horses like this because you're right. He's always going to be at the mercy of pace and trip. The turn back and distance, I think, is going to help him because I think he ran just fine going 2 starts back. But we're getting to a point now where, okay, maybe the trip didn't work out for him last time. Perhaps I'm being a little bit premature in saying that maybe he just finds trouble. But I want to wait and see another race. He figures to take a little bit of money in here. I personally like him a little bit better underneath.
Crazy Uncle Rick completes the field. This is a son of Uncle Mo, who Uncle Mo can do anything. 18% with first-time turf runners. The dam hasn't had a lot of success dropping turf performers, however. This horse showed big speed when dropped in for 75. Maybe this is the kind of horse that could at least keep Calix Man busy early. You've got to respect the Uncle Mo's, but again, this horse needed to drop in for a tag to win.
You brought up the sort of lack of turf in here, and I agree with that 100%. I suppose if you're someone that wants to make a longer case for this horse, this is one's a half the Tail of the Nile. Tail of the Nile was a decent mare, and she actually went out and was 2nd in the Presque Isle Mile. That was on synthetic. So if you think that there's any correlation, turf to synth, perhaps there's a little bit there. You brought up Uncle Mo. He can do anything. If this horse is nothing more than a nuisance for Calix Man, perhaps it sets up for horses coming from off of it.
Let's take a look at our top selections for Thursday's DRF Bets Race of the Day. I'm hoping that horse can be a nuisance, that crazy Uncle Rick, because I'd like Move Over to try to mow them down. Trouble last time out. I like the cutback, as you mentioned, to 6.5 furlongs. He'll be my top selection. Heartful of Stars, the 4. I know you've not been a big fan of his. I thought he was down on the deep and tiring rail in the wood. He wasn't going to win that race anyway at 50 to 1, and there is enough turf on the bottom that I can trust D'Amato. So I'm going to go 7, 4, 2, and 1. But you trust Calix Man, and boy, he's going to be tough to catch if they leave him alone early.
If they let him go, I think he's incredibly dangerous. And even if the 5 does go, which is kind of the way that I assume it's going to work out, I think the 5, you've got one way to go from there. If he goes and he sits just off the 5, I think he should just inherit this thing, turn him for home. The question is, again, can he handle 6.5 furlongs? That's not a given, but I do like the turn back. I went 6, 2, 7, 1 in here.
Should be a fun race. Thursday's DRF Bets Race of the Day, the 5th at Santa Anita, kicking off the late pick 4. And again, you can bet it with a new DRF Bets account, and you can bet the Preakness with free cash. Get a $100 deposit match bonus, drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the 5th at Santa Anita on Thursday, 2:30 Pacific. Good luck.